Notes from the Underground, novel by Fyodor Dostoevsky, part 2। पार्ट 2 में टोटल 10 चैप्टर्स है। चैप्टर नंबर 1 to 5 हमने प्रीवियस वीडियो में डिस्कस कर लिए हैं। इसमें हम चैप्टर नंबर 6 डिस्कस करेंगे। In chapter number 6, the underground man awakens in a brothel beside a young prostitute named Lisa. As he becomes fully conscious, he is overwhelmed by a sense of misery and spite. He begins to speak to Lisa, recounting a story about a prostitute who died of consumption and was buried in a damp grave. This narrative is intended to shock Lisa and make her aware of the grim future that awaits her. He suggests that she could escape this fate by leaving prostitution and finding love and marriage. Lisa responds that not all marriages are happy, indicating her skepticism. The underground man continues to speak about the advantages of family life, even though he himself lacks a family, and struggles and suggests that suffering can coexist with love and pleasure. Lisa eventually tells him that he sounds just like a book, which offends him, but he interprets her comment as a form of self-defense and believes she is hiding her true feelings. In chapter number 6 highlights the underground man's complex emotions and his tendency to manipulate others through his words. His speech reflects his own desires for connection and his disdain for the realities of life, particularly the lives of those he deems morally compromised. Lisa's response through minimum reveal her own awareness and resilience, challenging the underground man's perceptions and forcing him to confront his own contradiction. Next chapter, in chapter number 7, the underground man continues his interaction with Lisa, the young prostitute. After delivering a harsh monologue about the grim future awaiting her, he is taken aback by her emotional response, sobbing uncontrollably into her pillow. This reaction unsettles him and he hesitantly prepares to leave, giving her his address in a moment of guilt. Before he departs, Lisa returns with a love letter from a medical student who had met at a dance. The letter expresses genuine affection and respect, revealing that Lisa has experienced sincere love. The underground man, recognizing the significance of the gesture, leaving without comment, feeling a mixture of confusion and discomfort. In chapter number 7, highlights the underground man's internal conflict and his struggle to reconcile his cynical worldview with the genuine emotions of others. Lisa's vulnerability and the authenticity of the love letter challenge his perceptions, forcing him to confront the complexity of human relationship and his own emotional detachment. Next chapter, chapter number 8. This chapter opens with the underground man reflecting on his previous night's behavior with Lisa. He is horrified by his own sentimentality and regrets giving her his address. However, his immediate concern shifts to salvaging his reputation with Jivok and Simone. To repay his debt to Simone, he borrows money from his supervisor Anton Antonievich and writes an apologetic letter blaming his behavior on alcohol, though he admits to lying about his drinking. He takes pride in the letter's tone, considering it gentle, manly and good-natured, and feels a sense of relief after sending it. Despite his attempts to move past the incident, the underground man becomes increasingly agitated by the thought of Lisa visiting him. He fears that she will be repulsed by his shabby apartment and rude servant Apollon. He imagines a scenario where she arrives and he must put on a lying mask to conceal his true self. These fantasies oscillate between self-excitement and self-loathing. Meanwhile, his relationship with Apollon worsens. The underground man tries to assert control by withholding Apollon's wages, but Apollon remains unfazed. In a fit of anger, the underground man threatens Apollon, but before the situation escapes, Lisa unexpectedly enters the room. This is underground man is overwhelmed with shame and retreats to his boredom, leaving Apollon to inform him that someone has come to see him. And chapter number 8 highlights the underground man's inner turmoil and his struggle with self-image and relationship. His action reveals a deep-seated fear of a vulnerability and a desire to control how others perceive him. Next chapter, chapter number 9. In this chapter, the underground man is deeply embarrassed by Lisa's twist. He feels ashamed of his poverty and his shabby appearance. When Lisa tries to leave, thinking she has disturbed him, he suddenly starts speaking in a disorganized way. He admits that he never intended to help her escape from prostitution. Instead, he used kind words to manipulate her, just as others had humiliated him. He wanted to have power over her. He regrets giving her his address and is upset that she has seen his poor living conditions. At first, Lisa is crushed by his harsh words, but then she realizes that he is deeply unhappy. She feels sympathy for him and embraces him. This act of kindness causes the underground man to break down in tears. He feels ashamed of his emotional reaction and envies Lisa for his strength. He wants to regain control over her and plans to use her affection to do so. Lisa, however, misinterprets his bitterness as a genuine passion and embarrasses him again. In chapter number 9, the chapter shows the underground man's inner conflict. He desires connection but is afraid of vulnerability. His need for control leads how to push away the one person who shows him compassion. Next chapter, chapter number 10, the underground man reflects on his encounter with Lisa. He realizes that he chose for her to feel superior and to assert control rather than out of genuine love. He admits that he cannot understand selfless love and that his actions were driven by a desire to dominate. After Lisa leaves, he notices that she has rejected the money he gave her, which shocks him. He had hoped to humiliate her, but instead she demonstrated dignity and self-respect. The novel ends with his unsolved inner turmoil, leaving readers to ponder the complexities of human nature and the consequences of alienation.